Hey, welcome to Caching in the Northwest. You know, this is the podcast from the birthplace of geocaching right here in the great Pacific Northwest. Now, it's 9 p.m. Pacific, and I'm Chris of the Northwest, and we're going to talk about geocaches and geocachers from here and all around the globe. So while you're frantically searching for fans, we'll be caching in the Northwest. Now, tonight we're talking about targeted trailheads. We'll get into why we're talking about targeted trailheads in a bit. In live audience, we want to hear about you, from you, and about you because, we like who you are. Tonight's a little different. We've got two guest hosts with us. We have IHAM and Limax. Gentlemen, thank you for jumping on. We certainly appreciate it.
Wait a
You know
minute.
what?
Who's this gentleman he's talking about?
I wish I knew. I mean, I call them gentlemen all the time, but I didn't think I was one.
Okay. Anyway, as you were.
Yeah, this is about how it's going to be tonight. Folks, thanks a lot. Hey, we'll get to introduce you guys in just a minute, but I want to start off with a quick reminder that we appreciate the support of our patrons who help keep this podcast coming each and every week. And thanks to Landsharks, one of our corporate Denali level sponsors. Now, travel.landsharks.ca, they have a whole lot of great trips listed under upcoming trips. So you still have a chance to get in on these. We're talking a tour of the Brazil Ape Cache and a following Panama Canal cruise. I mean, right there is a must do, right? And that all starts in Santiago. There's so much more there. Go check out Landsharks. That's Landsharks, LANDSHARKZ.ca, and go check out their travel page. Our other Denali level sponsor is Gold Country Geotourism. Visit exploregoldcountry.com to learn more about the geotours and the region. There are two, right? And don't forget to go download that app. That app is great. It's going to help you find everything you need in Gold Country. You can also
gold?
go to Facebook.
Including gold?
Well, yes. If you find enough of the geotour caches, you will get your own little bar of gold.
There you
Which
go.
we were able to do when we were up there, but I was thinking more about the Golden Hills that reminded me so much of Nevada.
Golden Ears?
Golden Hills.
Golden Hills.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, yeah, and we won't get into the evil cactus.
Mm.
I already did that.
Cactus are evil. Don't wear sandals around cactus. That's all I have to say. Hey, go to facebook.com/explore gold country. And if you want to find out more about supporting the show, click the Patreon link on the cashingnw.com website. There you go, folks. And tonight we do have a glow. This is going to be a little different show. We've got a lot of news that I want to touch on. And then we're going to talk not only with these two gentlemen, I did it again. I called you gentlemen, but we're also going to talk about trailheads. So let's start off with the glow. And you may ask, what is a glow?
What is a glow?
What is a glow?
I like you guys. Can I have you on more often? A glow is a geocaching log of the week. So whether you read it or whether you wrote it, we want to hear about it because great logs simply make geocaching better. You can send an email or a recording to feedback@cashingnw.com. You can call in to 253-693-TFTC and show us just how you glow. Now, IHAM, you actually sent in this glow, and I thought, how apropos for you to read the glow that you sent in.
Absolutely. Well, when I saw this in my inbox, I just was dumbfounded, and it's like, okay, I have to put this in as a glow because it just hit my funny bone, if nothing else. And it's one of the things that a great log can be. So anyway, this was a DNF log on the Puget Sound chapter of the WSGA Geotour that my wife and I have as our combined persona of the Camp Clan. And so anyway, we got this log, and it is very simple. I am very slow at logging my drafts folder. In fact, I have since found and logged this hide, but I want to fess up to my earlier DNF. I looked all over, but on the later visit, this was found in a previously searched spot. All there is to it. But yeah, it's like, because I had seen the find log from this same user, a week ago or so, and then all of a sudden this pops into my inbox. It's like, wait, why do I have a DNF from this user? Wait, oh my, they're fessing up to a DNF that happened before they logged their log. So there we go.
I thought it was interesting. I've seen many backdated logs, right? In fact, I'm still getting logs and travel bug finds from the big summer events, right? Those
Yeah.
are still trickling in. I'm still seeing them.
from Geo Woodstock and the 22nd anniversary, et cetera.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah, I just had another one earlier this week.
So it's to see I call them a backdated log. To see a backdated log isn't that unusual.
No.
But to have that backdated log to be a DNF, that's very unusual. So
and the fact that he right out there in the thing says, yeah, I actually found this after I DNF'd it, but I'm going to go ahead and log the DNF anyway. It's like, okay, then.
I didn't put it in here, but this is from Morhoff, who I finally got to meet on Big Blue Switch Day. I threw an early morning event and she showed up. She was in Tacoma and she drove from Shoreline. So she drove like 2.5 hours for a 6:30 a.m. event. Like,
that's
wow.
dedication.
I was going to say, I hope she had other business to do in Tacoma that day.
Oh, she got a bunch of caches that day. Yes. But yeah, that was dedication. And it was, I've seen her name on logs and haven't met her yet. Well, now I have. So anyway, I thought that was interesting. That is a glow-worthy log, right? It's a DNF, but yet, you're fessing up that, yeah, I already logged that I found it, but really I didn't at first. Keats throws out, they were honest. I love it.
Indeed.
Yes.
Now, folks, tonight, if you want to join in the chat, and I know you do, I want you to use the hashtag crime. Yes, crime. It would be a crime not to put something into the chat tonight. Or a bigger crime to put one in, because we're using crime as the hashtag. Never mind. I'm not going to go there. Of course, you can use the hashtag FATAS to bring up something in the after show. Use the hashtag podcast baking and podcast drinking to tell us what you're eating and sipping on tonight. Either one of you got any podcast baking or sipping going on?
Well, my dinner's sitting on the stove that I haven't had a chance to eat yet.
And I'm otherwise occupied. And hello, Cat.
Even more occupied now.
Now I'm even more otherwise occupied.
Oh, hashtag cat hair.
Yeah, well, everywhere, all day, all the time.
I've got my trusty water and I'm ready to go. Limax, there's a news story. Oh, well, before we talk about this, we need to introduce you to Limax. Would you take a moment to tell people who you are if they somehow do not know? Like when you started geocaching, where you're from, your social security number, mother's maiden name.
Okay, let's see. Social security number is 1234. No. Well, I'm Limax. Been caching since 2004. I'm in the San Francisco Bay Area. Been here many years. we will say. Been caching since 2004. I'm more of a casual cacher. In fact, Right now, I'm actually taking a bit of a break from caching just because pushing through the labyrinth kind of did me in some. And so it's like today I had a chance to stop by a park and pick up some caches in an adventure lab, but work was niggling me in the background, so to speak. So it's like, oh, I can't stop long enough to even find one cache. So um let's see, been catching since 2004. I ham will like this. I actually found out about geocaching through ham radio.
Hmm.
Some people were actually talking about it on the local repeater, and it just sounded very intriguing to me. It took me a long time to catch the bug, about 7 years. I did start catching in 2004, but between 2004 and 2008, I only found 60 caches.
Hmm.
And then I went on a 2-year break and didn't start caching again until 2011. Well, it was a little bit over 2 years. It was like August of 2008 until February of 2011. There was something else that you want. Oh yeah. And for those who don't know me, they call me the mathematics guy, the numbers guy. I'm usually the one that comes up with the spreadsheets and the graphs
Mhm.
based on past events and things like that. And I guess that's about it.
And Jeannie pipes in and says, hello from N0NGW in North Dakota.
Well, I'm N6LMX. Go fig.
And with that, I ham.
Yeah, Jeannie's, we need to talk when November sweepstakes comes around. I usually have trouble getting North Dakota, so set up a schedule. Anyway, I'm IHAM, and I've also been caching since 2004. Went out with the boys, and they were elementary age, and found actually ended up being a guardrail cache, but I was just intrigued. We had picked up a GPS on clearance that went to out to 2 decimal places, not 3. So you had to extrapolate everything or interpolate everything to make your best guess. But anyway. But then we had my wife join us for another outing, and soon the whole family was hooked. So fairly casual cacher as well. It's we did have one streak that was a little over a year, because we started, well, let's see if we can go for every day for a week. Well, let's see if we can go every day for a month. You know how that goes. Anyway,
Mhm.
so but yeah, approaching 20 years in the hobby, and still having a lot of fun. So looking forward to see what other caches are down the horizon here.
Nice. Well, thank you both for joining me tonight. I also started in 2004, so we have that in common. I'm the only one on the podcast tonight that doesn't have their ham radio license. So, anyway,
We've been trying to talk you into
I know.
it.
I know. I just don't need another reason to spend money. Oh, J-Car said, I can relate. My first GPS only had 2 decimal points.
So
Yeah.
did mine. Magellan 310.
Yep.
Yeah, I got mine off of eBay. It was supposedly a non-working unit. Calling Magellan tech support, I got it working.
Nice.
Yeah, ours was on clearance at one of the sporting goods stores that no longer exists, and we found our first 100 with that one, and then we bought a little blue Garmin. So
You got
I
your
found my
GeoSense honed in early, didn't you?
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think I found my first 10 with that, and then somebody sold me a Garmin GPS 12, and I used that for the next 50 caches.
The 12, that didn't have maps on it, did it?
No, it was purely breadcrumb.
Mm-hmm. I think I have one of those
Oh, I
somewhere
loaned,
here
yeah,
in
I
my
loaned
mess.
mine
Yeah.
to a friend and never got it back. So
Yeah. Well, the Magellans, they were purely a compass rose. So,
Okay.
yeah,
I mean, that generation of Magellans.
yeah, yeah. My first one back was a Magellan GC, and I left it at a cache. And my wife let me for Father's Day get a Magellan. I was supposed to get a Magellan 310, ended up with a Magellan 510. Uh, Amazon had the box mislabeled.
Oh,
Yeah, and my current one is a Garmin GPS Map 66. Yeah, it's not. It's the one that has the changeable batteries. I did not get the one that's rechargeable.
yeah, that's interesting. Do you want a rechargeable unit anymore, or do you want something that you can, stop at a convenience store and get double A's and move
Double
on?
A's. Yep.
Double A's, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about a little news. There's a couple of interesting news bits that I got this week. Limax, I'm going to let you start off since you were recently on the East Coast, and I think maybe you had something to do with this.
Oh, I am not going to say one thing one way or the other about
Okay.
this, but the headline reads: "Suspicious package prompts bomb squad response. Road closure near Harvard." A suspicious package, which turned out to be a geocaching related item, prompted the response of a bomb squad and led to a road closure near Harvard, the sheriff's office said. McHenry County Sheriff's Office Sergeant Eric Ellis said sheriff's deputies received a call for a suspicious package in the area. ComEd workers were in the area working when they found a package near a guardrail, Ellis said. The package appeared suspicious, and the Kane County Sheriff's Office bomb squad was called to the scene. Oak Grove Road was shut down. The bomb squad inspected the item and determined it was not an explosive device, Ellis said. Officers believe the item was related to geocaching. Oak Grove Road between Route 14 and Reese Road was opened around 5 p.m. Wednesday, the sheriff's office said.
I think I may have cut out the bit. The call was about 1:30 in the afternoon, and it
Okay.
opened back up at 5. So this this geocache in a guardrail shut down a road for 3.5 hours.
It
Oof.
definitely was not the guardrail cache I found out there. Of course, that was closer to Taunton. But yeah, that was the one I sent you guys a picture of it. It was shaped like a telephone receiver.
Right. So got to be careful. Don't use PVC pipes, don't use metal pipes, anything that looks like a bomb, An Altoids tin is suspicious enough. But nonetheless, maybe there is something to be said for the nano caches. No response on that one. Okay, we'll move on.
As long as it isn't in a cedar tree,
Yeah.
or actually in any kind of forest for that matter, I am a firm believer that nanocaches don't belong in a forest. After spending time in Rhode Island looking for a cache, having a jump all over the place, and to find out, oh, this was a nano I was supposed to be looking for out here. Why the heck am I 10 meters off of the trail in the midst of all of this stuff? And it's like, okay, there were still blackberry wood, there were still already blackberry vines around it. And so I was, getting caught on thorns. It's like, this is not fun.
Mm-mm. No, not fun.
Not in the
Often
least.
nanos are not fun. Okay, I'll let you read the next one. I think
Alrighty.
you mentioned this to me anyway.
Yeah, I saw this on the socials from GHQ, the Geocaching International Film Festival, GIF, returns to celebrate 10 years of epic geocaching moments, captured on camera. If you're a filmmaker, a geocacher, or something in between, GIF 2023 is your chance to have your geocaching film viewed by thousands of people all over the world. Start creating your film now. The submission form will open June 1st, 2023. What is the Geocaching International Film Festival? Well, part one, there is film submission and judging. Geocachers around the world, like you, create short films about geocaching and then submit them to Geocaching HQ for judging. Films must be submitted by August 3rd, 2023. During the month of August, the films are reviewed by judges from Geocaching HQ. In September, the finalist films are announced and the filmmakers are notified. And then part two is the finalist films are shown at geocaching events. After announcing the finalists, Geocaching HQ creates a film reel with the finalist films. Any geocacher can host a geocaching event to show the finalist films during the official film festival dates, which this year are November 9th through November 19th. Stay tuned for more information about hosting your GIF event. Last GIF, over 16,000 geocachers attended 425 events hosted across 40 countries.
Wow.
How to submit a film? Well, start by read the rules. No, seriously, read them. Read the tips for filming. The submission form opens on June 1st. After June 1st, upload your geocaching film to Vimeo and submit your film by August 3rd. And you can go to www.geocaching.com/blog for more information.
Very nice. Now, I'm going to do some commenting, but I'm going to go toss it over to Komakino, who says, I'm almost done with my GIF. Oh, interesting.
Ooh. Well, and
He's
he's
really
made the
on the ball.
he's made the finalist role a couple of times, hasn't he?
At least
least
last
one.
year, if not previously. You'll have to correct us, Komakino. Last year's was quite good. I mean, he filmed at a very unique location, and it was very well done.
Twice, he says in the comments.
Oh, there you go. And he's laughing at GIF.
Yes,
right.
So there's a little bit of history there.
Yes,
You know, just like the image file format war on the internet, is it GIF or is it GIF? Well, let's just
peanut
cover
butter.
both bases. Let's cover both bases. It's GIF. Thank you very much.
that's right. So now we've corrected it for all people and offended everyone else. Yeah, which I'm okay with. Now I have to say that last year, last GIF, I should say, so that's actually 2 years ago, is it not?
Yes. They didn't do one last year because of the 22nd anniversary.
That there were only 425 events worldwide. I find that to be low for that time period. But maybe it's not.
Okay, this was also what 2022. No, 2021. So we were in the midst of pandemic still, and you know the rules for engaging with folks were all over the place. Rules of engagement kept changing daily, so that's probably the reason that it was so low. And it's like I know I went through. I know, like everybody else, I went through the last 3 years with that. It is becoming a very vague memory at this point. And, you know, I mean, I get reminders because there are folks around me that do still wear masks all the time. And it's like, that's fine. There are a couple of stores here in the Silicon Valley that are still requiring masks, and I've got no problem. It's like, I want to go into the store, I will put on a mask. Otherwise, I don't get to see these really cool books or these really cool games.
Right.
So,
I mean, and you know, it's whatever people are comfortable with. That's fine. And you know, if you're not feeling well, put on a mask. It's okay. It's not, you're not going to offend people.
The thing is, you know, they're starting to take sick days more seriously, or people being sick more seriously than they did before. And that might be a good thing.
Mm-hmm. That's true. That's true. Oh, we've got a lot going on. Keith says, but if GIF is an acronym for Geocaching International Film Festival, we don't say geocaching with a soft G. So I pronounce it GIF. Yes, however, but when you put a G with an I, then you get a hard GIF. So,
see, I'm trying to remember in Italian. I have to sing a song in Italian soon. I'm trying to remember if GI is a j. I think it's a j sound in Italian. Sorry, my brain just went there.
So anyway, it's the yes, I agree that geocaching is the soft G, not the hard G, but the J. And but when you
it's not geocaching.
geocaching, that sounds more Italian.
Yeah, maybe we find geodes.
Oh yeah. But you get the, you put that along with the acronym and suddenly the sound of the G will change. So we say them both. Now, a couple episodes ago on episode 2 or 508, we talked about CETO events. You folks remember? I was there. I hope you were too. Heather commented on YouTube. That's the name of that platform with all the videos on it. YouTube. She says, I attended a CETO event north of Seattle on Earth Day. One of the ladies had a 5-gallon bucket that was a trackable. It's a trackable that can carry more trackables, actually. She goes on to say, I held my first CETO event last summer. It was also my first hide. I stuffed bags into pill bottles and gave them to the people at the event. After talking to the ranger in charge of the park, he agreed to waive the day use parking fee for that time that we were there. There was an earth cache in a nearby park. I provided water and basic gloves, and a few of us went kayaking afterwards. So there you go.
Fun.
A basic CETO event. And as we said on that show, talk with the land managers, the rangers, whatever. They got the parking fee waived. So how great is that you can come, and if you're helping out, they're willing to work with you. So I love it. There is one correction from the Mountain Loop Highway episode. I made a mistake in pronunciation because I read it rather than know it. Right? I mean, if I talk about it,
How
know what
could
it
you?
is, but if I read it, I pronounce it another way. So I had said the Methau Valley, and it's not. It's the Methau Valley. So I apologize. It's not meth. It's met.
Isn't it funny? I was reading it as Metau rather than Metau, even though I know there's only one E there.
Metau?
Metau.
And speaking of the Mountain Loop Highway episode, I love that area up there. But right after we did that, soon after we did that, CRS 98 found an article and sent it to us. Pilchuck, Big Four, and other trails to close for part or all of 2023. Hikers will have to wait until next season to use several of the most popular trails along the Mountain Loop Highway. Pilchuck Road, also U.S. Forest Service Road 42, and its trails to Heather Lake and to Mount Pilchuck Lookout will be closed until 2024. The Boardman Lake Trailhead, along with the Ashland Lakes and Pinnacle Lake Pinnacle Lake Road system, will be closed from May 15th through July. Further up the loop, the Big Four picnic area and the Ice Caves Trailhead will be closed from May 15th to June 30th for trail work. So that's coming up this week to close for the Big Four ice caves, but it's going to open up by the peak of summer. Lake 22 Trailhead will be open for most of the season, but slated to close in September for repairs. There will be no road or trail access open to any of these areas while work is in progress on the Mount Baker Snoqualmie National Forest. The closures are necessary for much needed improvements and to protect the safety of the workers and the public, the ranger says in a press release. Although some of the sites and roads will be closed, there are still many recreation destination roads and trails that are open on the forest lands for people to enjoy. I almost cut this out, but I thought this was interesting. On Tuesday, the U.S. Department of Agriculture also announced $36 million in new funding for national forest and grasslands through the Legacy Roads and Trails program. A slice of that money, though not exactly how much remains to be seen, is expected to help with road improvements, culvert repairs, and species protection around the mountain loop. So, for example, the Heather Lake Trailhead, it's 1.4 miles up the same road as Mount Pilchuck. It's incredibly popular, brings about 30,000 visitors a year on a relatively flat 2.3-mile trail that tops out at 2,430 feet, which is, like 6 meters. Something like that. Limax, you're the math genius. It's about 1,000 meters.
It's actually a little bit less than 1,000 meters. I would say, let's see, it'd be about 800 meters,
There you
give
go.
or take.
Heather Lake, however, only has 25 parking spots on a pothole parked trailhead. That's being changed too. Around an acre of vegetation will be removed north of the parking lot, which will increase the capacity to 75 spots.
Triple the capacity. That's handy.
Yeah, I think that's going to be nice. Right now, more people can go up there and enjoy the area.
Mm-hmm.
While the hikes are famous for their views, the muddy gravel roads have been infamous for their, ruggedness. The rain, of course, is one of the major reasons for road damage. Average precipitation in Verlot is around 71.5 inches per year. That's a lot of rain.
That is a lot
of
of
rain.
Yeah. I
So,
know. Yeah.
they showed a picture of the road, and I'm like, it doesn't look that bad. And then they showed another angle with a Prius on it, and the potholes, look to be deeper than the Prius. So, that looked like a pretty bad road.
Yeah. I just know how bad it has been around here, since we have had no rain for so many years. When we had all the rain this year, it washed out a lot of the roads. I actually had to deal with potholes in places I've never had to deal with them before. Yeah. I did actually have one question. What Heather Lake sounds familiar to me, but I don't think that's the same lake that's near the Ape Cache, is it?
No,
Okay.
no, that's a net lake.
Annette Lake. Thank you. It's well,
It's a different woman.
pronunciation is slightly similar, but I knew it couldn't have been on the mountain loop. But that was throwing me because that was, of course, was closed last summer for the same thing that they're closing
Mhm.
these for this summer.
Mm-hmm.
So
Wet Coaster tossed in that the historic Othello tunnels near Hope, so that's up in BC. Those are fantastic. The Othello tunnels. I've been there once. Land Monkey actually took me. Series of, I don't know. There are a series of tunnels cut through the mountain, but they pop out from time to time, right into kind of following a river. They're going to remain closed for the entire 2023 season due to excessive damage caused from the atmospheric river, the BC storm devastation in November 2021.
I'm trying to remember if I saw any signs about that as I was going through Hope back and forth up to Gold Country. Because that is actually, it wouldn't have been on the highways I would have been on, but
I would say if you're up that way, you've got to go to the Othello tunnels, but just not this year.
Yeah, not until they get them reopened.
That's right. You've seen them in movies. I can't remember what movies were filmed up there, but there are several movies that have used the Othello tunnels as a set. Okay. I think we've covered all that.
Well, and talking about these trailheads is kind of a nice segue into our topic.
yes, it is.
Exactly. So this was an article of all people my wife passed to me and says, here, there you go. Yeah, that's right. Rambo was filled in Hope. filmed in Hope.
Okay.
I don't know if you need to know that, but if you go to the Hope Visitor Center, I think you can get your picture taken with Rambo. Yeah.
Okay then.
So my wife passed me this article a couple of weeks ago, and I wanted to talk about it. This gentleman is upset at the crime in our area of the country, and this has been going on for a while. Let me just read a bit from the article. As the sun comes out, trailhead parking lots are starting to get packed with cars. Car break-ins and thefts at trailheads are becoming a growing problem. One man decided to document this and found the most targeted trailheads in our area, so in Western Washington. Is hiking safe? Absolutely. And are there some really bad trailheads? Absolutely, said the man, who asked not to be named for safety reasons. He started compiling vehicle break-in data last year after seeing windows smashed at a trailhead. The next weekend, 25 cars were hit, and I got really angry and decided to do something about it, he said. So, using public information requests from law enforcement and the Washington Trails Association, I was able to compare the number of trail reports at a trailhead against the reports that mentioned crime, he said. The list shows the 5 most targeted trails with data from 2015 through 2022. And all of these are no more than a 2-hour drive from Seattle. So, Iham, do you have any guess which ones would pop up there before you looked at them?
I kind of assumed that the Cougar Mountain or Tiger Mountain ones would be on there. And I would not be surprised if the trailhead up by Monte Cristo would be on there as well. But let's see what the list says.
And the survey says we should do this as a Family Feud type thing. Anyway.
I would have gotten it even right anyway.
Oh, okay. Well, it starts off with the Whitaker Wilderness. Well, boy, I'm going to have trouble with these. Whitaker Wilderness. I mean, it's not a tough word to say. Peak Trailhead, Cougar Mountain. So there you go. You got Cougar Mountain. The Tiger Mountain Trailhead South.
At Tiger Mountain.
At Tiger Mountain. And those, yeah, I've been to both of those. And the parking lots are decently sized, but you really do feel remote when you're there. I mean, Tiger Mountain is right off of a busy Highway 18, but you don't really notice that too much when you're there. So Nisqually State Park South, that's in Longmire and Paradise. So up at Mount Rainier. Chehalis Western Woodward Bay Trailhead in Olympia. And the last one is the Pine and Cedar Lakes Trailhead in Bellingham. That's way up north.
Yeah, the Woodward Bay one we actually drove past while we were doing our Wheel of Smileys last month.
Okay.
So it's like, oh, I recognize that one. So out kind of towards or north of Olympia a little bit. So
how remote did it seem out there?
0 bars on the cell phone remote.
Okay. That's pretty remote.
Was there a repeater anywhere near there, or was it all simplex?
Probably all simplex. I don't know. Although I did not try.
The article goes on to say thieves know that cars are left unattended at trailheads and are great places to find purses, passports, and laptops. Because of the rise in smash and grabs, Washington State Patrol increased its presence last summer. Hikers said that they don't leave any valuables in their cars.
I was going to say, who leaves a laptop in your car at a trailhead?
Or even a passport, right? Yeah.
I when I had my passport with me last summer, it was in my pocket the entire time.
Yeah.
I was too paranoid not to have it with me just in case of a random passport check. But then I remembered I was in Canada.
Right, but even if, if I've come from Canada back to the US and I haven't gotten home yet, I still keep my passport on me.
Yeah.
That's not one of the things I leave in the car, or in a bag. I keep it on me, just like my driver's license. I keep it on me at all time. I'm not worried about it for identification. That is an important piece of identification and is difficult to replace and a hassle to replace. So,
Yeah.
I just don't want to aid thieves in, identity theft.
Yeah. So this is the first time I've ever had a passport and had to carry a passport. Just haven't had one before. I learned that you probably should put it in some kind of protective covering rather than just having it in your pocket the whole time. Because coming back into the United States across near the Peace Arch,
Mhm.
they couldn't scan my passport because it had been, well, not damaged beyond repair, because I mean it still looked like me and all that, but it was not scannable.
Interesting. I'm a big fan of the passport card, size of a driver's license, credit card. It goes just like a passport. It's got all the same information. It's got an NFC chip on it that you can, like I think the passports do now as well. When you go across the border there's a spot you put out your card or your passport to a scanner and it picks it up. And by the time you drive up to the booth there, they already know who you are. So let's see. Yeah.
I was going to say, unfortunately, they're not. The passport card is not as widely accepted as the actual paper passport. But
I think you're exactly right. It's only accepted, if I'm not mistaken, it's only accepted at land crossings, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think, because GSM times two could not come up to Canada for Geo Woodstock because all he had was a passport card and he was flying up.
Right, right. So it
right.
it won't work for air travel and it won't work for sea travel. I think it's only land travel across the border.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yep.
And which is, I think, part of the reason why I did not get the passport card and just got the passport.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Really good point. Thank you. Let's see. Let's go back to the article. The rise of smash and grabs. This unnamed gentleman continues. I think about it less on a fairly crowded trailhead like this than I would at a place where 4 cars are parked and not a lot of traffic coming. That's a much bigger concern. I feel I feel like if there's a break-in, I have everything with me. A citizens report said it's not just hikers impacted by these break-ins. If we can get better solutions for trailheads, it would also make a dent in crime in general, the man who compiled the list said. He believes there are small changes that could help prevent these smash and grabs, such as more signage, cameras, or even hiring a crime analyst. One of the things I'm calling for is a very modest increase in the fee for the Discover Pass, he said. One with the goal of getting more people out on the trails. The full report will be released Thursday, along with a Facebook Live meeting to go over these findings. So that already happened. But I thought it was interesting, right? So maybe we increase the Discover Pass, which used to be $30. I believe now is $35.
I thought I paid 50, but maybe that's because I'm not a resident of Washington. I don't
Maybe.
remember. It's like I bought 3 passes at the same time. I bought the Discover Pass, I
Mhm.
bought the Golden Poppy Pass for state parks in California, and I
Okay.
also bought the
America the Beautiful Pass,
America the Beautiful Pass, yeah.
which includes
And
the Northwest Forest Pass.
right, yeah. And actually the most expensive I think of the 3 was the California one.
Hmm.
It was
Interesting.
over 100.
Wow.
Ouch.
We got a lot of state
So,
parks.
yeah.
Yes, you do.
Now, a lot of people like to take buses up to the trails,
Mhm.
but King County here in Washington has cut 20 bus routes earlier this month, And so finding alternative travel to these trailheads is in fact getting harder.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's, here's some generic tips. These tips are not going to work everywhere, right? So when you go into a trailhead, you got to think about it. Um, just even parking my car in my driveway, I keep it to the rule of let's make this look like a rental car, right? There's absolutely nothing in here, nothing that gets attention. Um, you know, I take my phone out, I take everything out, every identifying piece of uh, paper out of the car. Now, I do leave the registration in the glove box, but it's not visible, right? Did you guys watch the Mark Rober video on his? It started out as the glitter bomb, but then he also did something for car thefts, right? He had a package that he hid in the trunk of a car, and it
Oh,
was like the glitter bomb.
I had missed that part.
Yeah, I didn't see that one either.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
But he was watching with cameras, and they'd come and smash the little window in the back. You've got your
Mhm.
your roll down window, and you usually have this little triangle window right next to that.
Yep.
They'd
Yep.
break that, reach in, pull up the seat release, throw the seat forward, and look in the trunk. And if
Hmm.
there was something worthwhile, then they go break the front window and get in. It's like, wow. I mean, and you watch it happen in, 15 seconds. Smash. They would have a ring with a metal point. When in a car you've got one of those safety window brake hammers.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they have a ring with that metal end on it, so that they just have to tap the window and it breaks.
You got to know the right place, but yeah.
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 I
Anyway, thieves, they know what they're doing. For them, it's a job, and I don't agree it should be. Uh,
was gonna say they would have had trouble with my Impala because my Impala did not have uh pushed retractable seats, which was a
okay.
real pain. I mean, that thing had a big trunk, but
Hmm.
if I'd been able to put the seats down, I could have got more stuff into it. Yeah, and this is of course when I'm hauling from the hardware store.
Right. So, Limax, why don't you get us started with some of these ideas?
Certainly. One thing is to choose a designated parking area. Many trailheads have designated parking areas. These are usually the safest places to park since they are well marked, monitored, and maintained. Make sure to park within the designated area to avoid any fines or towing.
Avoid parking on the side of the road. While it may be tempting to park on the side of the road, this is not a safe option. It can be difficult for other drivers to see your car, and passing vehicles may come too close, risking damage, getting sideswiped.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you've got a lot of people at a geocache, and suddenly, um Monte Cristo is a good example, or um Ring of Fire, right? There's not a lot of parking spaces there. You get 4 or 5 cars, and you've pretty much filled up the little trailhead parking that's there. Be careful where you park. Starcasher says, I often leave my laptop hidden in my car while traveling. I need to remember to take my laptop with me when traveling to Washington. I also need to think about it when traveling elsewhere. So I wouldn't leave it in the car. I mean, take it with you, even hidden. I wouldn't leave it in the car.
And
I know, I work in IT. I know so many stories of people who said, I went to a friend's house overnight. I left my work laptop in the trunk, and my car got broken into, and they took the laptop. Yep, that happens
Yeah.
all the time.
I actually heard about that happening with a couple people at work. They had gone home on lunch, for a quick lunch, something like that. Just kind of left the car in their driveway. By the time they had returned to their car, which I think had not even been that long, their badges had been stolen, and a couple other things have been taken out of their car. So yeah,
It
it's
happens.
amazing how quickly these thieves can be.
Yeah, The next one is look for well-lit areas. Now, on a lot of these trailheads, there's no electricity, so you're not going to find a well-lit area, but look for an open area. If you plan returning to your car after dark, make sure you park in a well-lit area. It's not only does it make it easier for you to find your car, but it also deter potential thieves or vandals.
Also, hide your valuables. Thieves often target cars parked at remote trailheads. To avoid having your belongings stolen, make sure to hide any valuables out of sight. This includes GPS devices, smartphones, wallets, and any other items that may be tempting to steal.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen cars broken into because there was a jacket in the back. Oh, that's a Seahawks jacket. I want that. And they're going to, break the window and grab it.
Yep.
Mm.
Not to state the obvious or anything, but be sure you lock your car. It is important to lock your car when you leave it parked on a remote trailhead. Even if you plan on only being gone for a short period, it's better to be safe than sorry.
Yeah. Now, yes, that's true. I lock my house, I lock my car. In our neighborhood, we had a bunch of break-ins. And my neighbors were saying, you know what? I take everything out of my car, including my registration. I leave nothing in the car and I leave it unlocked so they don't have to break the window. Well, you know what they were doing? They were breaking the window anyway. They weren't even trying the handle. They can smash, reach in, get what they want and get out quicker than opening the handle and seeing if the car's unlocked. So, um, that's a tough call. I mean, can you imagine coming back from a long hike? Let's say Monte Cristo, right? It was 6 hours, 3 hours in, 3 hours back. There's going to be nobody at that car for an incredibly long period of time. You come back and your car's been broken into. You're tired. You want to get back home, and now you've got to deal with this. So I agree that I think locking your car is the best choice, but I'm not entirely convinced of that. I see the logic in if you leave the car unlocked, they can look through it, see there's nothing there and move on. I don't know. So, okay, you guys aren't going to argue with me. I was hoping for
I'm trying to think which it's kind of the lesser of two evils there,
right. But I think the whole thing is evil.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What about leaving a note? If you're going to be gone for an extended period of time or plan hiking out of cell phone range, consider leaving a note on your dashboard. This includes your name, contact information, and the estimated time of return. This can be extremely helpful in the case of an emergency. I saw
kind
that
of an add-on to your trip plan.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I've seen this with other things that they put it down by the brake pedal. So it's not obvious. It's not on the dashboard that, hey, I parked here and I plan to come back in 6 hours. Well, that makes your car a target.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
But they put it, down on the floorboard. It's obvious when you open the door, you go, oh, there's a piece of paper down there. I wonder what that is. Right. And that will give them some information, especially if you're out alone, that, you can have something to help the rescuers find you easier.
Yeah, I know. Well, you just had Adventure. Was it Adventure Smart that you had recently on, or no? Yeah,
we have them on all the time.
Yeah, that was talking about the whole trip planning thing,
Mm-hmm.
and I think this is one of the things they mentioned. Of course, when I see consider leaving a note, of course, red flags go off in my head immediately. We've got a geocacher down here who really is a very well-meaning geocacher. But one of the things he has provided as a free service at some of his events are tags that you can hang from your car saying, my car's not abandoned, I'm just out geocaching.
Right.
And it's like, I have one.
Mm-hmm.
I have never used it because I've not ever felt comfortable using it.
Right. Right. So, that's like, you're out, I'm just going to pull off here on the side of the road, which you probably shouldn't, and run into the woods, go get a geocache and come back. Well, at that time, that might be a use for it. Wet Coaster has some very interesting tips here, comments in the chat. He says BC provincial parks parking fees are $1 per hour to a maximum of $3 per day. An annual parking pass can be purchased for $25 to cover parking fees at all parks. I like that. Also says day use passes are required to visit some of BC's most popular provincial parks. Passes are free and you can get them online. I wonder if that's to control traffic, control numbers.
Probably. I do like his other comment there. At a commuter parking lot in Surrey, he says he's gotten tickets from the police saying, "Good job. There are no items visible for thieves to see."
Yeah. Isn't that nice? That's positive reinforcement.
Yeah, I have I get a parking pass every year for the one recreational park, hiking park, whatever you want to call it, that my city owns. And I'm trying to remember, actually the parking fees just went up, for day use went up. I think they were $5, I think it's now $7. And an annual parking pass is like 60. And even though I've got good intentions, I mean, for a long time I was using it quite regularly, and I still get it every year because it's one less thing I want to think about. Yeah, and unfortunately I let my other park passes expire. They all expired last month, and I probably won't renew them until I need to go out and actually do it again. Yeah, and I will consider getting both of them because it would be nice to be able to just go visit parks.
Right. We also have Keats who says, but he says, talking about the parking passes, you have to be up at 6 a.m. to nab a BC Parks day pass. If on a weekend, passes can be booked within minutes.
So yes, traffic control seems to be the driving reason for those.
Now, Heather, thank you for, I don't know if you were here earlier. Thank you for your YouTube comments. We read those earlier. Heather was a little worried about parking her car at a less used trailhead at Tryon State Park in Portland. Well, you weren't going to stay there. It was just a Tryon State Park. No. But I agree with you, right? If you're in a small parking lot out in the woods, yeah, you could target.
It feels a little dicey.
Yeah,
it does. Yeah, I know that I actually parked at a trailhead up in Marin County. I was actually at the end of a dead end street. In fact, when I looked on Google Earth or Google Maps before I went out there, I thought, oh, look, here's a nice parking spot to park up. Turns out it was somebody's driveway.
Oh,
so I had to park down from it a little bit, and I was on the side of the road. But it was pretty remote, and I don't think I saw any traffic coming or going. And I know I was gone from my car a couple of hours on that.
Yeah. So it's one of those things that I just don't know. I'm still of two minds about this.
No, I think my main take on this whole thing is, dude, get a job.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I think it's actually good that he brought it to people's attention. Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
absolutely.
Yeah.
The person from the article, absolutely.
Yeah.
I was more referring to the people that are doing the breaking in.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah. I lost context.
You think you need to break into my car, dude? Get a job.
Yeah. Maybe that is their job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, yes. So
And they're spending enough time to make it worth their while, which, if you're spending that much time doing something, yeah, go
Mhm.
get a real job.
Well,
You
I
get
know.
benefits.
Yeah. I mean, even around here in parking lots, in Silicon Valley, I see signs all the time that say hide your valuables before
Mhm.
and we're talking about in a restaurant parking lot where you might be in there for half an hour to
Right.
an hour at most.
Right.
They say hide your valuables. My girlfriend talks about at her school, you want to hide valuables there because that is also a target for smash and grab.
Mhm.
We're
Mhm.
talking in elementary school for gosh sakes.
Right.
yep.
Right. Yeah, my wife who works at a school just, they're having a change in parking policy allowing teachers to park a little closer to the doors because there's been some break-ins.
Yeah.
Mhm. Well, the other thing now that is happening too is the catalytic converter thefts.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
My son's mother-in-law had her catalytic converter stolen in the hospital parking lot where she works.
Oh
Wow.
wow. Yeah. My dad had the catalytic converter stolen off of his truck,
Mhm.
and it started being parked in the back where the trailer used to be after that. Um, it's currently out on the driveway, but we've hopefully made it less accessible
Right.
for
Oh,
the time being.
ouch.
Yeah.
So Heather in the comments there says my catalytic converter was stolen while at a CETO event in Southeast Portland.
Sorry,
Ouch.
Heather. That's terrible.
I
I mean,
and
that's
I'm
several $100 in replacement.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one time I actually had one fail, it was actually still under warranty, thankfully. Turns out I guess there was a longer warranty for those
Okay.
than that was a Saturn that I had. Oh, I can't remember if it was my first Saturn or my second Saturn. Both painful memories, but
I
I should
know
say go ahead.
I was gonna say, I know the muffler shops around here will put a cage around your new catalytic converter and make it more difficult. I've seen people go as far as to weld razor wire around the edge of their
Mhm.
catalytic converters.
I
To
know that, the garage, the car shop where my girlfriend takes, their cars, has one of those stamping machines or something like that and stamps a serial number into it or something like that as
Were
well.
you reading Wet Coaster's comment?
No, I actually wasn't because, we just actually happened to have that discussion recently because, her daughter's, I don't think it was a catalytic converter, it was something but something connected to that was
Mhm.
having trouble, and so they actually did went in and I think they did stamp the VIN in it
Yeah.
or engrave it, either one.
Wet
Yep.
Coaster says there are some garages in Surrey that will engrave your VIN on your catalytic converter for free. Nice.
Yeah.
I think they should just stop, purchasing catalytic converters from random people.
Well, are they actually purchasing that, or are they actually just removing the platinum and selling that?
They're taking him to a recycler somewhere that's going to do that, and they're
Yeah.
paying them for the number of catalytic converters, right? So if you're coming in with 20 catalytic converters, either you're a muffler shop or a thief.
Or maybe a thief with the muffler shop ID.
Oh, there you go. Okay, now we've gotten onto thieves, and that's not where I wanted this podcast to go. But that's kind of what this whole episode was about. Be safe when you're out there. Um, I want geocaching to be a fun, entertaining event, part of your day, not a downer because, somebody damaged your vehicle.
I found 40 caches and came back to find my window smashed.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Not a fun way to finish the day.
Exactly.
Knock on wood that has not happened to me yet, but I know I'm just, my turn is coming.
Yeah. I mean, and you said it, Limax, you could be in a grocery store or in a restaurant and it could happen there. So it doesn't matter where you are, but just when you're at a trailhead, have a little extra caution. Now, folks, I want to say thank you. Thank you for taking the time to tune into this episode of Caching in the Northwest. And I want to take a moment. Let me get the graphics going. Oops. Somehow I've turned on the Christmas lights. How did I do that?
Anywhere.
It's not
Can't
even
take them
July
anywhere
yet.
more than once.
No, it's not
Wait.
July yet. Can't have the Christmas lights.
Wait. I got it. I figured it out. I hit an extra button. I want to take a moment to thank Land Sharks and Gold Country Geotourism, our corporate Denali level sponsors, and they deserve flashing lights all times of the year, not just at Christmas. Land Sharks is the outdoor adventure and geocaching store. Check them out online, and they ship orders daily. Daily they do it. They're always there. And for absolutely amazing geocaching adventures, check out exploregoldcountry.com. And we want to thank all of our patrons. Do you gentlemen want to read the names with me?
Sure.
Certainly.
We'll start off with Peach of Washington.
Green words.
And Ebnerv, who is a new patron.
Right?
Yay.
How about Limax? Hooray!
Who's that?
I've heard of him. He's a numbers guy.
Yeah. Gas station tuna.
You Talks to Rocks, who was actually just down in this area recently.
Really? Rawr! 285.
Woodby Island gal.
Subway Mark.
Logwork.
Skyhawker.
Wet Coaster.
Boomer 365.
And Ari 54321.
And Just Carlo.
BC Rockcrawler.
Just finding our way. Do we need to put Just Finding Our Way and Just Carlo together? Get them
Oh.
together.
Just
Ooh, that-
Carlo
that-
finding his way.
Yeah.
Hmm?
And then we've got the Camp Clan.
Heard of
Who
them
dat?
too.
I think I've heard of them. Yes.
Yeah.
How about Flagman?
Kev MacD.
Kid Vegas 19.
He was just on last week talking about the
Exactly.
509.
Yes.
Broncos fan for life.
Geocaches.
Sege Hove.
Korsgat.
Alarobrick.
Team Nultex. I need to make another trip up there to find some of their caches.
Oh, it's worth it. It's worth it. Udex.
Kitty Quest.
Oh, yes.
CRS 98.
Genies.
MC3 Cats.
Seebeck Tribe.
GeoNav Pro.
Wino Seattle.
Ackerdoc.
GSM ×2.
Antaeus.
LG 9000.
B Pendragon. Hey, how about that guy?
Trexers.
Dora Moore.
And last but definitely not least, J-Car. Oh, thanks, folks. We want to thank our faithful Denali level supporters. That's Land Sharks, Gold Country, Geo Tour, Team Squirrel, Groovy Owl, and Cashly. If you want to know more, find that Patreon button somewhere on the cashingnw.com website. And folks, thanks for taking the time to listen to this episode of Caching in the Northwest. Your support helps keep the quality show coming. So if you like the show, click the Patreon link on the cashingnw.com website. I'll get it right one day. It won't be today. Now, if you didn't like the show, let us know what you want us to talk about. But in either case, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and more. Subscribe and give us a review. If you were in a restaurant, you would tip. If you were in a live audience, you would clap. But since you're on a podcast, leave us a free, fast, fabulous, fantastic 5-star review. You can also call in to 253-693-TFTC and leave us a comment, ask us a question, or watch our car for us at a trailhead any time of the day or night. And of course, you can email us at feedback@cachingnw.com. Join us live every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Pacific for a live show and chat. This show's been produced by Chris Umfenauer, Jim Paulwitz, Jay Kennedy, and Brian Lang. It's licensed under Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license, copyright 2023 by Chris Umfenauer. And folks, we ask you to stay tuned for
The After Show.
the after
Wait.
show.
Jim's here? What?
It sounds like it, doesn't it? It's time for the after show.
I think it's a different Jim.
Oh. I think, you know what? We don't have our normal chat lackey here either.
No, I didn't see anything.
I saw
that said,
one. I saw one FATAS.
There was one FATAS
Oh,
earlier.
two FATASes. Genies put one in that he is going for a double. He's going to Hamvention and then Geo Woodstock back to back.
Now, I only know of one Xenia, and that's in Ohio.
That would be
where
the
it
one.
is. Yes.
I mean,
Just right
you
near
know,
Dayton.
yeah.
Yep.
Right near Dayton. It used to be it's normally known as the Dayton Hamvention, even though
Okay.
they're no longer meeting in the town of Dayton. They're in Xenia. So
I hear
and it's not going to be that far away from Owensboro where Geo Woodstock is happening this year. So
there you go. That is a nice double to go for.
I know that. I've always wanted to get back there for that, and have never had the chance to. I hear, the 4 days in May and everything else. I just hear it's really something to behold.
Is
Yep.
Hamfest going for 4 days?
Hamfest.
it's actually a week basically.
Wow.
But the 4 days in May is a separate but related, pre-event, if you will. And then Hamfest itself is what, 3 days,
Something like that. Yeah.
something like that. And it is the largest ham radio convention in North America every year. So
Wow.
Yeah. It's usually the one where new products are shown by some of the vendors and things. I remember years ago, I said, my wife's family's in northwestern Indiana, and I said, well, Dayton is not that far from there. We could go there, drop you guys off. I can go for the week down there. And then she reminded me the kids were still in school.
Oh,
like-
whoops.
Yeah,
yep.
The best laid plans.
So
Wet Coaster says that I'm going to go with Guernsey bound TB trade event. That's GC A4QGY, Fleetwood Park, Surrey, BC.
GC Alpha 4 Quebec Golf Yankee.
Oh, you
Yep.
guys did it right. Also, Komakino says my Japan tour videos will start going live tomorrow. I saw some of his pictures on some of the socials, and it looks like he had a fabulous time in Japan.
very good. All righty.
And there's one more from Keats. Came by Vancouver, Canada Place for adventures across Canada. Hello, Vancouver.
GC Alpha 89 Victor Romeo.
Well,
Interesting.
may
gotta
have to
be
give that one
An event.
may
yeah.
have to give that one a look. Was that an event?
It's an event this Saturday, May 13th,
Oh.
from 10 to 11
Okay.
a.m.
All righty. And also want to wish a very happy Mother's Day to all the moms that are listening here.
Oh, thank you for doing that, IHAM. That was very nice. Happy
Someone
Mother's
remembered.
Day. That's right. Hey, folks, and until next week, get out and get geocaching with your mom.